Eli here, and today I wanted to tell you everything you need to know about manipulating the Atlas to get Awakening level 8 as efficiently as possible. I wanted to let you know the assumptions that I'm making, and there aren't many. Number 1, you've completed the story mode and the little side quest afterwards to get Haewark in your hideout. You have probably 3 to 4 tier 1 maps, including the map that Haewark gives you, and it's the start of the league. And 3, 2, 1, let's go. Our primary objective is to run tier 3 or higher maps in each of the 4 corner zones. While we progress towards these zones, we want to complete every single white tier map we can find, killing the boss while the map is at least magic rarity so we get the objective bonus. This objective bonus is fundamental to our map sustain. When we reach one of these corner zones and run a tier 3 or higher map, there's a 50% chance that we'll spawn a conqueror. Also, real quick, when you kill the map boss of a tier 3 for the first time in a zone, Zana will open a portal right there next to you and walk in to unlock the citadel for that region. Citadels hold Watchstones, which upgrade our map tiers. Now once the conqueror spawns, run 3 more maps in that zone. Once you run that 3rd map, go talk to Haewark like the game tells you to, and open up the portal to the conqueror's map. Go in this map, kill the map boss, which will then open a portal to the Conqueror's Zone, and then kill them and take their Watchstone. Let's assume you did this in Lex Ajoris. Put the stone you get into Lex Proxima, the adjacent inner zone, if possible. Otherwise, pick any inner region citadel that you have and put the stone there. Now continue to progress towards the other 3 outer zones. For our first 4 Watchstones, these are the only zones that can spawn Conquerors. And the same rules apply once you get there. Tier 3 or higher maps, 50% chance for the Conqueror to spawn initially, and then 3 more maps to spawn their map. As you get these other 3 stones, put them in your bank. We don't want them affecting the Atlas just yet. Once you have 4 total stones, place 2 in the inner zone adjacent to Lex Proxima. In this example, the adjacent inner zones are Tyrn's End and Valdo's Rest. So let's choose Tyrn's End. Put 2 stones there, and place the 4th in the adjacent outer zone, Haewark Hamlet. This is the beginning of the Leapfrog strategy that you may have heard of. This strategy in this example would have us run Lex Proxima until we get all 4 Watchstones from that zone. We can continually run this zone to kill all 4 Conquerors to get their Watchstones. As we're getting these 4 stones from Lex Proxima, we have a choice of either banking those extra stones or using them on the Atlas. If you have a very large map pool for Lex Proxima and can confidently run all of those maps to get all 4 Conquerors, then you could put Watchstones in other areas if you so chose. But the maximum number of Watchstones you want in any area is going to be 1, except for Tyrn's End, which is going to have 2. If you need more maps to continue dropping in Lex Proxima, bank the Watchstones. Once we've spawned all 4 Conquerors in Lex Proxima and killed them, taken their stones, we're going to put 3 stones into Glenich Cairns. Then we're going to run all the Tyrn's End maps that we've acquired from running Lex Proxima. Once we have all 4 Watchstones from Tyrn's End, we do the same thing for Glenich Cairns. This gives us a total of 16 Watchstones, and we can fight Sirus for the first time. Why does this strategy work? It's because of how the Atlas chooses which maps can drop. Let's say we have 1 stone in Lex Proxima, 2 in Tyrn's End, and we just ran a tier 6 Defiled Cathedral map. We kill the boss, and because boss monsters can drop map tier +2, it decides to drop a tier 8. Now we're pretending that we have no tier 8s available on the Atlas at all. Tyrn's End is completely incomplete, and we've just started the league, so we have nothing anywhere else. However, we do have 100% bonus objective completion. Once we reach 100% bonus objective, that means any maps that drop automatically upgrade 1 tier higher if possible. So because in this example we have no maps showing on the Atlas that are tier 9, and none that are completed in any other zone that are tier 9, the only valid maps that can drop are Underground River and Fields. And that's because they're connected by these little lines, which makes them adjacent to the map that we're running. Because these maps are adjacent to the tier 6 Defiled Cathedral and tier 9, they are valid choices, and the game will pick one of these 2 to drop. Put another way, maps that are adjacent to the one that you're running are valid so long as the monster you just killed in the map you're running can drop the tier of that adjacent map. So that's leapfrogging, and you don't have to do it exactly as I just outlined. The leapfrog strategy, as people call it, is really just understanding how the Atlas drops maps and making good use of it. This knowledge will serve you later in your progression when you're farming specific zones like Haewark Hamlet or Tyrion's End or whatever it is that you choose, and being able to maximize your awakening level while doing so. Understanding how the Atlas drops maps allows you to, later on in your progression, force them to drop at higher tiers in only the zones that you want, while also keeping your awakening level as high as possible. Remember, your awakening level goes up by 1 for every 4 Watchstones that are socketed anywhere in the Atlas. You can look at what higher awakening level bonuses give you, but to put it simply, the more you have, the better rewards you'll get. Now let's talk about the Maven, super important. She controls these blue bars. And starting at tier 5 maps, the Envoy will start to show up. After it shows up a number of times, it'll tell you that the Maven is going to witness your boss fight. The Maven will be a nuisance, periodically creating clones of the boss to attack you, preventing damage to the boss, and healing them. Kill the boss anyway, and use the quest item that drops on your map device to add this button to it. As long as that button is orange, the Maven is going to witness the boss fight of that map. For every boss that she witnesses that you kill, the blue bar fills up. Once she witnesses these first 3 boss fights, she'll drop a quest map item. Open it with your map device, go in and kill those 3 bosses. Next, for 4 boss fights needed to fill the bar, you'll need 1 Watchstone socket in that region. The map tier you run has to match the tier showing in the Atlas for 1 Watchstone socketed in order for the Maven to witness it. If this button turns blue, meaning she's not witnessing it, it's because you have the wrong map tier or Watchstone combination for her to be willing to witness the fight. If it turns blue, you can mouse over it and it'll tell you what's wrong. Now, once you get up to 10 boss battles, you'll start getting craftable Watchstones. These function identically to normal Watchstones in terms of upgrading your awakening level and the map tiers for that zone. So once we reach awakening level 4 and fight Sirus for the first time, progressing our Maven boss battles is a fine way to progress towards awakening level 8. And now you can use the knowledge that you learned earlier to force the Atlas to drop maps in a particular zone, so while you're also fighting Conquerors and getting their Watchstones, you're progressing the Maven to get additional craftable Watchstones to drop. Combining Maven and Conqueror Watchstone drops is going to be the most efficient way to get to Awakening level 8. So to recap the past 6.5 minutes or so, and use more broad strokes terminology, the Atlas is more of a living rule set that we modify with Watchstones. Maps that show on the Atlas, like all of these that you see here, these are all valid maps because I have completed them, as in killed the boss of them. So for example, if I kill a boss in a tier 14 and it drops a tier 10 map, it could pick the Primordial Pool, it could pick Forbidden Woods, it could pick any of these other tier 10s wherever they are that are showing on the Atlas that I've also killed the boss for. If none of those exist, then it would look at adjacent maps like we talked about earlier to see if there's a valid one there. Something I didn't talk about is if there's a map that would have dropped, say a tier 10, but there are no tier 10s on my Atlas, that map drop goes into something called our map equity. We don't see this bonus anywhere in the game, but what it does is it builds up our RNG of getting higher tier maps at a later point in time. These specifics aren't known, but I will link to you the only information that we have in the video description. Now this setup you see here is just another manipulation of the Atlas. What I'm doing here is I want to drop tier 14s through 16s only in Haewark Hamlet, and I've put in tier 14 here just to show you that I have Awakening level 5. That's the highest you can get while maintaining this kind of setup, where only one zone is going to get tier 14 through 16. And as you can see, tier 14, 15, and 16s all only exist in Haewark Hamlet. So if those tiers are going to drop, they must be in that zone. To further help our map sustain in this zone, we have a favoriting system, and these 3 nodes are unlocked as you complete the maps, kill the boss for them, get the objective bonus, as in for red tier maps you would be making them rare and corrupted, and then getting the awakening bonus, which is completing them at a certain tier. So for example, to get this one, we need to do at least tier 16 and awakening level 8. So once we complete all 3, which I haven't done yet, we can select maps to favorite. I can select that and then click here. Atoll now has 10% increased chance to drop when a map drops in this zone, and they can only drop in this zone. So we can do this to help rotate our supply around to make sure that we can continually get our 10 boss Maven battles, since she has to witness 10 unique maps, all the while continually only farming Haewark Hamlet. And you can select the same map for these favorites, so each one gives 10%. If you select all 3 on Atoll, you'll get a 30% increased chance for Atoll to drop. Another important strategy to keep in mind when we're trying to get our objective bonus completions is Zana. She will sell us maps and she will sell us a list of them. This is why we want to collect chance orbs right off the bat at league start, because she sells all of these lower tier maps for chance orbs. When we get up a little bit higher, she'll start going to alchemy orbs, but for a while, you'll need chance. And this resets when we force a Zana mission, so let's pay attention here. We have a 18% Maze of the Minotaur. If we go up here, go to our map device and put in a white tier and throw on Zana. Once these portals spawn, Zana will have a new stock full of maps. As you can see, we no longer have the Maze of Minotaur, we have all these others. And for the most part, even now, a couple weeks into the league, these are still pretty good deals. Tier 15, she's selling for 11 chaos. Well, she just blew that out of the water. Tier 14 though, 7 chaos, listed at 8.4, maybe 10. Hard to say exactly, but this is a good deal. Tier 15s and 16s usually aren't, but everything else is a good deal, and that's awesome because trading sucks, and it's nice to be able to collect our maps that we don't have completion bonuses for. The very last thing I'm going to comment on is I think it's really important to get the Uncharted Realm passives, at least 2 of them, 2 sets, so you can get close allies right off the bat. That'll give us a master mission a day and allow us to gain more master missions as we play through and continue to advance our farming. And for me, I like to get a depth tracker as soon as possible so that I can finish out and complete my Watchstone gathering as soon as possible. I really hope that this quick run through of the Atlas and how to use the Leapfrog method, and more importantly, just how the Atlas drops maps and how we can manipulate it, served you well, gave you some more knowledge that you didn't have before. If you have any more questions or need something clarified, hop into my Discord. It's linked in the video description. Leave a comment below. I will get right back to you as soon as I can and help you figure out whatever it is that's confusing. And if you really liked this, hit subscribe. It's down there next to the dislike button, and you will find more content coming from me soon. Until next time, this is Eli, signing off.